Hey, welcome back. Monday Morning Briefing, episode number 80. It's Thursday, October the 13th, and we finally had a little bit of time to devote to making a Monday video. The last couple weeks just couldn't make it happen. Just kind of been busy between doing stuff in the shop, trying to get some of the custom stuff that we've had on the books for quite some time. We've been trying to just devote some time to that, along with our saddles. I've got one that I've been needing to start, and I've got one I'm trying to wrap up, but it's just, I don't know, the shop's been just kind of crazy between shipping and doing stuff and new products and new videos that we're still kind of ironing out all the details on, new project videos and things like that. Just kind of the last couple weeks have gone by in a hurry. Plus, we were planning a surprise birthday party for Claudia, for my wife, on Sunday, this past Sunday, and so that was a couple of weeks there of handling all the details for that and things like that. And I had an amazing group of gals that were helping me, some of her friends and everything, and we actually pulled it off. And so that happened on Sunday. So that was nice to get that done and actually have it be a success and her not find out about it till we needed her to. And so that was good. But we've been working on this saddle. Some of y'all that follow us on Instagram may have seen on there that we actually added some hummingbirds to that saddle. The gentleman that I'm building the saddle for said that hummingbirds had a special place within their family. It's just kind of has a meaning to that, and so he kind of asked me, it wasn't really on the original plans of doing that, and he said, have you ever done a hummingbird? And I said, I don't know, and I honestly don't. I can't remember if I ever have or not. I've done a lot of wildlife, a lot of different critters and stuff in leather, but we gave it a whirl, and we did the first one on the horn. He mainly just wanted one on each stirrup. It was just something kind of simple, but I kind of saw a trend or a pattern there, and I thought one would look good on the horn too. So we did the first one there, and then we also did it on the stirrups. I've been showing some pictures of those on Instagram, having a lot of fun with that. I'm not a figure carver, so to speak, as far as like that's not the main thing that I do, but I enjoy doing that part of the artwork in leather and trying to just develop that skill a little bit. If you've ever played with a little bit of figure carving and trying to do those type of scenes in leather, it's a little different than trying to just do normal floral design. And in my mind at the moment, like the floral tooling seems much easier than doing the figure carving, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I was glad to add a little something different to this saddle, being that it's a quarter breed. There's not a whole lot of tooling to it, but I think when it's done, it's gonna have just the right amount of tooling to make it still be an eye catcher, but still something that you're not scared to go out and scratch and use. But now we're down to the wire on it. So the last saddle, we did that video on the time lapse of me building that saddle from start to finish. That video has done amazing for us, and we thanked you last time in the Monday video, but it's still doing really, really well. So thank you all again, and those that are new here for checking that video out. And if you haven't already, you might give it a look. It's about, I think it's a little over 30 minutes of an entire saddle build from cut bench to tie out to finishing the saddle. And it's just kind of a neat video. I don't know how well it would do, but it's been doing really, really well for us as far as the amount of people that have viewed it. I don't know that I've ever had a video do that well in its first 30 days. So we're really happy about that. Maybe we'll do some more of those on some other projects as well. Again, there's not a lot of education in there as far as me explaining what's going on. It's just you getting a chance to see the whole process very quickly, kind of go through and get it done. But now on this saddle, on that one, I had done everything the way I should have, which was do all the small stuff in the spot of my build where I normally do it, so that all your little stuff is done when you're done with the actual saddle construction. On this saddle, I haven't done that. I've still got the hobble straps and the little keepers and the conchos and the flank girt and stuff to do. Not a big deal, but I much rather prefer to do them during the build or before I even start the build. That way all that stuff's done, because all this little stuff is not particularly fun or interesting to do. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's just time consuming because there's a lot of little doodads and things that you got to do on a saddle. But that's where we are. It shouldn't take me, but I'll probably have all this stuff done this afternoon and get all that done, and that way we can start oiling this saddle tomorrow. I wanted it done earlier this week, but schedule just didn't happen. We had some visitors in the shop. I want to thank them for coming by. We always enjoy getting a chance to meet you and kind of hear about what you do in leather work and things like that. So if you're ever in the area, be sure and stop by. But we had some of that go on, so that kind of ties us up. But it is what it is. We don't worry about it too much. We just hit it again whenever we get back to the bench. We'll see what we can get done. But we're working on that, so hopefully I can get that done, and we'll have some finished pictures of that one early part of next week, I'm hoping, and we can get it out of here. One interesting thing is my sister-in-law, this is the second one she's found for me, but she goes to a lot of little, market days and different things, and just getting home decor items and things. Well, there's always somebody there selling some, what most people may just call old junk, but to me it's very cool stuff that I want in my shop. So she keeps her eye out for saddle trees and that kind of thing, anything saddle shop related, and she found this one and sent us a picture of it and said, do you want that one? And I immediately said yes. I don't remember what they're asking for it, 20 or 30 bucks, but it seems to be late 1800s. I don't know, I'm not an expert on that. Some of you are watching and you kind of can see this tree and kind of the way it's constructed, and I know the gullet width measures 5 3/4 to 6, so I'm assuming it's at least late 1800s, something like that, just based on the gullet width. It's also, the 10 strainer is for a half seat, so it's not a full 10 strainer in there. And just the style, the candle height on it, the candle dish that's in here, it seems like it's probably from that time period, but again, I may be completely off, but if somebody has any idea, be sure and comment so we can all know about what everybody's guess is as to how old it is. But I like having stuff like this around. We're just going to put it in the shop for decoration. I've got a couple of these, 2 or 3 of these that I've acquired over the years, and they're just kind of neat to look at and just kind of to see, and imagine what that saddle actually looked like when it was built, and maybe what it went through and what it was used for and that kind of thing. So I just like having that kind of stuff. So I'm sure by the time I'm 80 or 90 years old, I may end up with more of those in my shop than I really need. But anyway, we got that, so we're gonna add that out on the front. I put an order in with Maker's Leather Supply. Our kids, we're homeschooling the kids now, and so we're trying to get them set up in here. They're wanting to do more. They're wanting to learn more in the shop and kind of make more stuff and that kind of deal. And so I thought now that we have the time, we should start doing kind of like a shop class segment every day or every other day. They're in here a lot anyway. Maybe we can just do like an hour a day or something working on skills and projects, like smaller projects. So I was on Maker Leather Supply's website, and they have these can koozies out of leather, little projects already clicked out, and you just order them and then you just sew them together and tool them up and then sew them together. And I thought that'd be a great first project, so I bought a few of those. We're going to try to let them stamp those themselves and kind of learn how to do a border stamp, just very, very simple things. And then I got these clamps here. These are bench top. They've got a little turn deal here on the bottom, and you can just clamp it down to whatever bench that you're on or something like that. And then it's got a couple knobs here where you can change the angle of it. It'll bend, up and down here, and then it'll swivel around. So you can adjust this for your hand sewing, like if you're sewing wallets or small items, spur straps, anything like that. These I think would be really handy. I think I'll find a use for these in the shop as well, but these are really good for them. They're a good size. My stitching horse is too big for them. Their legs aren't long enough to reach the foot pedal, and so these are going to be really nice. They actually fit on their little desk in there really easily, and so they were actually doing some hand sewing yesterday. And one little trick, I don't really want them using an awl, and if you've seen my video on stitching with 2 needles and an awl, that's the way eventually I will teach them how to hand sew, but I don't want them with an awl right now because they're really young and they're going to end up stabbing themselves or each other. And so we're kind of keeping that at a distance at the moment. But as far as the 2 needles, I was like, well, I don't have pricking irons, and I didn't want to have to make all the holes, for them with that, just because I think it's something that we don't need to work on just yet. And so I actually figured out, I just pull the string or the thread out of my needle in my machine, and whatever project, like these koozies or whatever, we can glue them up, fit them up and everything, and then I can run it through the machine without any thread in there, and then I'll make all the holes, and then all they got to do is stitch it up. It saves me some time, saves them the time. They can get the actual stitching skill down, and then as they get a little bit older, a little bit more confident in their stitching skills, I can begin to teach them how to use a set of pricking irons as well as an awl to make those holes. So I'm just trying to figure stuff in there that makes it just a little bit easier for them to learn some skills and begin to kind of build upon that so that they can do bigger projects. But I thought the koozies were going to be a great one. The next one might do is maybe a little wallet or something, but I want to do some kind of projects to where they can work on those over a week or maybe even 2-week period of time. And then as they get better, we can bring in much larger projects like a pair of leggings or a bag or a purse, or a gun strap, just all kinds of other little things. And then maybe someday we can work in a saddle and they can do a saddle from start to finish as well. But they're enjoying that. It's kind of fun. It breaks up the day to where they get their schoolwork done first thing, and then in the afternoon we can work on projects and maybe do some painting or some other stuff. So having fun with that. Doc at Makers also sent me their template for their fringe cowhide purse, and I want to thank him for that. He just threw that in there. We'd ordered quite a bit of stuff. He said, I'm going to throw this in there. I think Claudia would enjoy kind of maybe making one of these, and she actually said she was wanting to get that one pattern. So I don't know if y'all have made these yet. I'm not real familiar with this actual bag, but it looks really cool. But these templates are really nice. He makes a lot of templates over there and stuff. So if you get a chance, if you like using templates, you can certainly check his stuff out and see all the different projects he has with templates and things. But that's what we've been doing, is just trying to kind of keep up. I've had to order some extra thread from him. I'm trying to make sure I've got plenty of that. As you know, for the last probably month, I've been on a kind of little organizing campaign here. We've gotten the shop pretty well where we want it. The leather aspect or leather side of the shop, I'm not completely done with. We're still working on some drawers and stuff in there when I get some time, but I haven't had a whole lot of time the last couple of weeks with everything else we're doing. But I've got it pretty well headed that way, where it's much easier to find what I'm looking for, and I've got a better idea of the inventory on what I have. So with that, I found quite a bit of stuff that we still need to cut. We've got a load of leather coming in probably tomorrow, if not Monday, and so we will be restocking some of the stuff on the website. I think right now I saw the thumbhole sling material packs. I don't know if it's a thinner one or the 910, but one of those we're out of, and a few little things we're out of. We've still got plenty of belt material packs as far as I know, and then all the smaller items, but we've got more coming. We're going to be cutting stuff like that up, and I will be having some new dies here pretty quick for another upcoming project. So that'll make another material pack that y'all might be interested in making. I also restocked the Skidmores on the website. You guys have been buying it up really well. Seems like everybody's liking it. I hope you're enjoying it. It's just a really good product to keep in your shop for just, you want to oil your boots or oil some of your hunting gear or your horse gear, saddles, anything like that, anything leather. This stuff is amazing. It's my choice when it comes to leather conditioner, and you can certainly call Skidmore and just get it straight from them. You can probably buy this at your local feed store, but we do appreciate it. If you prefer to get it from us, we'll certainly ship it to you. But we've been out on the website for a little while, and we finally got some back on there, and that way you can get that. We've got the bigger pints, and then also I think they're 6 ounces that are a little smaller cans. We've got those on there too, as well as the glycerin bars. We restocked those. As far as the podcast, we had a podcast land today with William James Brown with William James Leather, and he used to be right over here, welder, as you'll hear in the podcast if you listen to that episode. And we actually tried to do a podcast back when we first moved here and kind of got to know him a little bit and got a few episodes in, but as it is in the country, the internet quality wasn't there, and we just couldn't do it. And I don't have the hardware to actually do it face to face, because he's actually in the shop quite a bit back then. But I just didn't have a way of recording it that was good enough. Probably could have figured something out, but we just kept putting it off. And then he ended up moving up to North Texas, and so he had to move so we could get him on the podcast, because now he has Wi-Fi, so we were able to do it. And it was a really good episode. I really enjoyed it. We ended up talking really a lot about social media on there and kind of its impact on the younger guys coming into the industry, and its impact on like our custom businesses and how we structure those, and kind of what we're focused on when it comes to marketing, and how different that is than whenever I started. Because when I started, there wasn't any social media to speak of at all. And the internet was there, obviously, but it was a lot harder to use, I guess, and to actually access and have that impact your business. And so we still did old school marketing with business cards and flyers and going to events and things like that. But it was a good interview. Want to thank him for coming on. We really, really enjoyed it, and we'll probably have him on again at some point as well. The episode before that was with Christopher Andre with Slickball Customs, and that was a good one too. We've gotten a lot of good feedback on that episode there. He makes some comments in there about tooling and kind of his process and what he teaches in his classes on the tooling, and I found it really interesting because it's really not the way that I do it, and so I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed hearing kind of his take on it. I've tried it a few times, and when you listen to that podcast, you'll kind of hear what he's talking about there, and I've been trying it here. I tried it with this hummingbird situation on the stirrups and things, and it does make a little bit of difference. I think I need to work on it some more and kind of refine the actual steps that he uses. Again, it's way different than the way I tool currently, so it's just going to take a little bit of time to get used to that. But yeah, had a lot of fun. The podcast is going well. We've got some other guys lined up trying to get everybody scheduled. Hopefully we'll keep on a good pace throughout the fall, and that way we'll give y'all plenty of stuff to listen to while you're working on your Christmas orders. Because being the middle of October, we are in full swing for Christmas. Some of you may still be taking orders. Some of y'all may be thinking about closing your books. What we want to do is just kind of be sure, as we talked about last year during this time, is just be sure that you don't overload your books too much so that you're stressed out that last week of Christmas. I always try to stay away from that if I can. I want to try to be done the week before Christmas actually gets here. But we've got a good fall season coming. I expect everything to be good from everybody I've talked to. They're taking pretty good orders, and people are starting to already think about Christmas and things before Halloween, and that'll only get more and more prevalent after Halloween. Obviously, people really start thinking about it. So I hope that's going good for you. We'll be kind of rooting everybody on and kind of talking about that as we go forward through the fall, and just kind of trying to keep everybody on track and help you with good resources and good content and some things to help you get through that. And I think it's going to be a good fall season and a good Christmas season. That's really all I got for you this week, guys. It's going to be kind of short and sweet. I've got to get back to the saddle and see what we can get done this afternoon. I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, be sure to go to dgsaddlery.com and sign up for the Leathercraft newsletter. And we'll see y'all next week in the Monday morning briefing.